Throughout the years, the low-income, working class are always the first to be treated badly by society, and are always hit hard by the economy when things don't go as planned. In the analysis of the primary sources, they add to the idea of how bad the treatment of the working class was and still is. It also shows how different the classes were from each other and how one viewed the other. In Robert Feeke's painting Familien Portrait des Isaac Royal, 1741, we see three beautiful women and a baby girl and a man dressed in beautiful clothing. The women are wearing different colored silken clothes, as we see here, and the man is wearing a coat, and underneath it is another that looks like it's lined with gold, as you can see right here. Even the young child, as the caption states, holds a coral teething stick with a gold and ivory handle. Coral was traditionally believed to ward off evil spirits. This is how colonial elites would often dress, and as the caption reads, their silken clothes communicated wealth. So the finer the clothing, the more wealthier they were, and they would let people know it as well. The scene, however, was different for colonial farmers. In the American YAWP, Shays Rebellion, many farmers were into debt after the Revolution. This even included Revolutionary War veterans such as Daniel Shay, who grew tired of creditors threatening to foreclose so many properties. Daniel Shay and several armed men that were called Shayites took to blocking courthouses in order to stop judges from issuing foreclosure orders, as we see here. Shay was arrested for treason, but was later pardoned, and the rebellion created or generated intense national debate. Things didn't change much for the lower working class, for many lived in tenement buildings, such as those in New York City, where you can still find many, and were classified as the other half by many. According to Jacob Riis, many viewed those that lived in tenements as disease-ridden due to their evil doings. He wrote his observations. If it shall appear that the sufferings and the sins of the other half and the evil they breed are but as a just punishment upon the community that gave it no other choice, it will be because that is the truth. It's important to note, however, that Riis himself did not believe this to be true, but wanted to convey how the government and many belonging to the upper half of society viewed those in the lower class. Then, in 1929, the Great Depression hit and the economy fell, and threw many people out of work and homes. The majority of people were affected, including employers who could not afford to pay their workers and let them go. Those hit hard were those hit the worst were the working class. Many were without jobs and struggled to put food on the table and pay bills. In the American YAWP, it states that the fortunate could survive by simply deferring vacations and the regular consumer purchases. However, this was not the case for many Americans who were not as fortunate, as described in Lester Hunter, described by Lester Hunter in his poems I'd Rather Not Be on Relief. Lester Hunter left due to the Dust Bowl and was heading for California and its green fields. In his time on the trail over there, he wrote this poem. In his poem, he says, "From the east and west and north and south, like a swarm of bees we come. The migratory workers are worse off than a bum. We don't ask for luxuries or even a feather bed, but we're bound to raise the dickens while our families are underfed. Again, we have farmers that just want a little more money so they could plant the field and be able to feed their families. Yet here they are again being treated a lot less welcoming than the upper class while many of them starve. Much has not changed in the many years that have passed. While things have gotten better for some of the working class, it's not always the case. The working class is always hit hard the most if the economy crashes or fails. Society still thinks of them as lower class citizens and mistreats them a lot. Even today, many view the lower working class as deviant or government assistant leeches. Many have to work 2 jobs or more just to pay bills and put food on the table. There is just a lot of work that needs to be done in order for those in the working class to not be judged by where they fall and not to have to die working in order to be able to eat and pay bills. Here are my sources that I used. I hope you enjoyed my video and that you learned something from it.